What's up everyone, I am Prizmere and today I bring to you 5 unwritten rules of Fallout 76. But before we get into all that, big shout out to all of the people who have subscribed and have helped me reach the booming 100 sub milestone. So thank you. Anyway, let's get into our first point. Change your public team goal to casual. So this is going to be relevant if you are a leader of a team and you run an expedition or daily ops team. By creating such a team, you're essentially advertising that you're going to run through one of these instances. When you have completed the expedition or the daily ops, you want to change the team goal to casual. The reason for this is that otherwise you're leaving it up as an expedition or daily op team, and you're essentially still advertising that you're going to run another one. So if that is not your plan, well, then you should absolutely change it. Otherwise, you're basically baiting people into joining for no reason. Number 2. Nuke correctly. So really, you can nuke wherever you want, but it's not very nice to nuke someone else's camp, so I would stay clear of that. But mainly what I wanted to bring up is that you can nuke boss events in specific ways. So let's get into it. If you're looking to nuke the Scorchbeast Queen, as you may or may not know, you need to nuke the Fissure Site Prime at the bottom right of your map. But at the same time, you want to stay clear of Drop Site V9, that is where you're going to fight the Queen, as you can drag her to that place, and therefore fighting her outside of the zone. So, however you want to place the zone, make sure that the Fissure Site is in it, but make sure that the Drop Site is outside of it. Moving on to the Ultra Site Titan boss, you don't need to nuke where it spawns. In fact, you want to nuke on, I'm pretty sure it's Abandoned Mineshaft 2, you can just nuke right on it. And the Ultra Site Titan will spawn very close to Nuke World on tour, so that way you're also leaving the zone unnuked, which makes it easier to fight. People can fight outside of their power armors and stealth suits and whatnot. As for Earl, we're moving on to Minoga Mine. This one, it doesn't really matter too much how you nuke it, but it does help if you leave it on the very edge of your nuke zone, because that helps people get out of the nuke zone more easily as they exit the cave. And regarding the newest boss event, Neurological Warfare, that is in Skyline Valley, it's going to spawn in Hawksbill Weather Station. So you want to make sure you don't nuke right on top of that. As far as I'm aware, you can send down your nuke anywhere in the Skyline Valley, and you will spawn this event. So here, I just tried it for the first time myself. I just sent a nuke out on 3 ponds to see if it spawned the event, and sure enough, the event did in fact decide to spawn in, so it does work. And also looking it up now after the fact, the Fallout fandom page does actually say that you can nuke anywhere in Skyline Valley and you should spawn the event. To summarize, just don't nuke where you're going to fight, is pretty much the name of the game. Moving on to our third point, don't spam explosive weapons. And this is going to be very specifically within events. One main reason is because if you spam them, you're going to get some crazy ragdolls when you're killing enemies, and you're going to explode away the loot for not only other people, but also yourself. In some events, like Encrypted, you can explode the bodies down the hill, for example, and you're basically not going to be able to find them, and that's the loot gone, so be very careful with how you use these explosive weapons. Another problem that it brings is that it insta-kills enemies, and as you may or may not know, you need to hit an enemy in order to gain the experience from it. So if you're killing enemies instantly, you are denying other people from gaining experience, and that's not very good. Imagine if people were doing that to you, you're going to lose out on experience, so we kinda gotta play nice with each other, They do have a very good use case though, and it completely depends on situation to situation. Imagine that you're doing the eviction notice event, for example. People are occupied in different directions, and so you have a bunch of super mutants coming at you, but it's only you who are gonna have to take care of them, and they're getting kind of close to the rad scrubber. Well, perfect time to use your explosive weapons. So they do have their use case, but you do wanna kind of use them sparingly, right? And do keep in mind that weapons with the legendary explosive effect and the Gauss weapons, they are exceptions to this rule. Number 4, don't touch people's locked items. If you're seeing locked resources in someone's camp, it is very clearly a sign that they want to keep that for themselves. So I would highly advise that you stay clear from lockpicking those. If you were to go for the lockpick anyway, you will become wanted and others may now kill you even if you have pacifist mode enabled. And as for our last point, don't start difficult and popular events early. Examples of these could be Radiation Rumble, Eviction Notice, and Test Your Metal. Unless you are very confident in soloing these, they are the type of event that could totally fail early, so having people there from the get-go when you start the event is going to help tremendously. So not only is it going to help you get to the finish of the event, but you're also allowing other people to fully participate in getting all the experience and all the loot. And Test Your Metal even has a nice caps bonus if you kill the GoldenEye bot. If you are looking to solo these, you may want to run your own server and try it there. Just like I'm doing on the clip, I'm doing a solo Radiation Rumble. Not that I usually do it, I just wanted it for this video, but that's something to keep in mind. Encrypted, if you see this event pop up, someone has manually made this event appear, so let them decide when they want to start it. It does cost caps to buy the recall keycard, so they are fully in charge of when the event should be started. As for Radiation Rumble, you don't want to camp the enemy spawns in the hallways. You want to gather around the middle area, and that way you can shoot into both hallways, so on both sides, and just tag the enemies. That way you and everyone else, if they're doing the same thing, are going to get a much greater experience share. Don't forget though that collecting ore is the objective to complete this event. Many times it fails because no one really bothers to. It is kind of unfortunate because you are going to miss out on experience. So I guess the rule of thumb here is do it every once in a while. At least that's what I'm doing. I help out sometimes, and sometimes I'm just there to tag everything and get as much experience as I can. If you are a low level and you don't have any good radiation resistance, you cannot do this as you are going to immediately die. So let the other people focus on that until you have the gear to do so. Also, as a quick side note, as you may have seen, I'm using my flamer weapon on the allies because I do have the card that lets you heal them with fire attacks. Very useful for this event. As for Eviction Notice, I would highly recommend, if you're not planning on soloing this, that you stand still when you spawn in, unless you know what you're doing, and assuming that you're basically first there. The reason? The event will automatically start when you go to a certain area, and you don't want to automatically start that event, so if you're there first, you can pretty much just take a quick break and come back in, a minute or two and see if people have arrived. So those are my 5 unwritten rules of Fallout 76. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or maybe if you would like to add something to all of this. Feel free to do so. Either way, that is it for this video. So as always, if you liked the video, make sure you thumbs it up and comment something. And if you'd like to see similar content in the future, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.